So using the user-defined exception along with the user-defined messages. So we are using this example here. So I declare X exception, pragma exception init. So this is the exception name and this is the message number. Begin insert into EMP employee number, employee name, department number, values 1122, Sai and 50. Exception when X, then DBMS output not allowed into EMP table because parent key not found. Suppose if I say instead of the 50, I will say 70. Okay. So what I am going to do? So I am trying to insert a record into this EMP table. But for the department number, I am giving the which is not exist in this table. So that means this department number should be available in the department table, and then only it will be trying to insert the record into employee table. So that means not allowed into EMP table because the parent key not found to. Suppose same key if I use instead of the 10, 70, I will use 10. So what will happen here? So this record will be inserted now. Before that, we'll verify the table. So here, only 14 records, and there is no employee number 1122 here. So now I'm going to use this query, insert query. So now the record is inserted now. Because the record is inserted, there is no output message here if you see. And check this table. Here the record is inserted. So with the department number 10 means whatever the department number exists in this table, department table, if you use that, that is inserting. If any other number it is inserting, so then it is throwing the error. Same thing if I use 80, then it is throwing the error here in a constraint. So this number should not be used as per this primary key on this employee number, so that you can use another number here. So then I'm getting not allowed into employee table because parent key not found. So this is our exception we are using. That is X, and it is the whatever we are displaying in this, it is printing here. Use the rollback. I can check this employee table. Is having now 14 records only. Okay. One more example for this. Declare LV underscore employee number, EMP dot employee number percentage type, LV underscore salary, EMP dot salary percentage type. Exception EX. That is EX is the exception name. Pragma exception init EX minus 06502. Begin LV underscore employee number, assignment operator, colon LV underscore employee number. So select employee numbers, salary into LV underscore employee number, LV underscore salary from EMP, where employee number is equals to LV underscore employee number. DBMS output, we are printing this exception. When EX, then DBMS output, enter numbers only. Okay. So 7499 I'm giving employee number. Then I'm getting the value here. Suppose if I am giving any other number, so already 1122. This also not there, no data found it is giving. Okay. So when you observe here, we are using the exception, user defined exception, but here I am getting the no data found error here. So it is This exception is not capable of handling this other exceptions. Only whatever we are defined here, for that only it is giving. So now what we can do, we can add the when others also. Then you can use the DBMS. Okay. Now what is happened here? So whatever the number, employee number does not exist in table, when you give, it is giving no data found error in the script output. But I don't want to stop this expression, so that now I'm giving so another exception here in this. Okay, then it is coming in the DBMS output, no data found here. Before that, without this exception, the numbers only we have to input. Suppose if I'm entering a, then it is giving enter numbers only. It is going to this exception, our user defined exception when this is instead of the number, if I am giving any characters for the employee number, then it is throwing this user defined exception. For any other exception, it is going to, if I am giving null value, it is no data found error it is giving. So, one more example for this. So declare LV underscore department number, DEPT dot department number percentage type child name exception. Here it is the child name exception is the exception name we are taking. Pragma exception in it child name comma minus 02292. Begin LV underscore department number assignment operator colon number. Delete from DEPT where department number is equals to LV underscore department number. Exception when child name then DBMS output child record found. That means is there any record is associated with this department number 10 or 20 or 30, then this should not delete and it will give you the error message child record found. Department number 10 I am giving. Then child record found it is there. 20. Then for this also child record found. Suppose if I am giving 90. The department number does not exist actually. So that it is giving null values here. Here it is no information. Okay. Then means 90 means with this query delete from DEPT where department number is equals to 90 means it is null values it is going, so that nothing will be executed here. Okay. This is about the user defined exceptions. So when you are using this one, so is there any number we are getting? Predefined error numbers we are not getting. User defined numbers only. User defined error message only we are getting here. Then with this pragma exception in it. Okay. So any doubts here? Next move on to next topic, that is procedures. So procedure is a named PLSQL bot which perform one or more specific tasks. So if you are giving a name for the procedure, that is called as a named block, or you can call as a procedure. So in the above example, declare we are using declare execution section we are using. This is all unnamed block. So this will not be stored in the database. Whereas coming to the procedure, we'll provide a name for the block that will be stored in the database. So you can call anytime with this name. Procedure are mainly to perform an action. Procedure is a database object mainly to created to perform one or more DML operations for database. Procedure cannot have a return clause in the definition or specification. So procedure may or may not return value. It is not mandatory to return the value. Procedures return more than one value while using the out parameters. So while defining the procedure, we do not specify any return clause in this specification, but return statement is optional for the inside procedure. Procedures cannot execute in the select statement. Procedures internally having one-time compilation process. Procedures are used to improve the performance of the business transactions. So with the procedures, you can promote reusability and maintainability. Processes will accept in and out and in-out parameters. So you can check this procedures using the base tables. That is user underscore source, all underscore objects, db underscore objects. In these tables, you can check the what are the procedures we are creating and what are the inside the procedures. If you want to search anything, whether it is available in this procedure or not, you can use the all underscore source and user underscore source. Here all underscore objects also is there, and one more is all underscore source. Okay, so these are the tables. It will be useful in the procedures. Procedures will be divided into two parts. One is procedure specification and procedure body. So in procedure specification, we are specifying the name of the procedure and type of the parameters. Okay. So here, procedure body, we are solving the task like objects. What to do in this, we have to mention in this. What tasks we have to do, or what is any DML operations we have to do. That all these things can be done in the procedure body. So procedure can be executed in two ways using the anonymous block and using execute command. So procedure contain the two parts. One is procedure specification and procedure body, and this can be executed using the anonymous block or using the execute query. So how will you create the procedure? That is syntax is create or replace procedure, procedure name, parameter one, whether it is in parameter, out parameter, or in out parameter, and its data type we have to mention. Here no need to mention the size. When you are defining as any parameter, so there is no need of mentioning the size of the data type here. So here procedure, create or replace procedure, procedure name, and parameters is or as, you can mention either is or as. And in this declaration part, here we have to define the variables. What are the variables? All the variables we can define it in this section. After that, begin is the execution part. And after that, in the execution section, you can have the exception section also. In the exception section, again, exception handling part. And here, end. So this is the default syntax for this. So we'll have the simple procedure. Create or replace procedure. P1 is begin dbms output dot put underscore now. Welcome to Oracle PLSQL training. So this is here procedure name. P1 is the procedure name, and here is the execution section. We are not defining any parameters or any variables, so that declaration section. Any doubts? So simple procedure we are creating, create or replace procedure P1 is begin, dbms output we are printing here. So when you compile this one, procedure P1 compiled message is getting. But where can I see the output here? So whenever you are creating any procedure, first you have to compile this one. After compile, you have to call the procedure name using the execute P1. exec is the shortcut for the execute. You can use the execute complete keyword, or you can use the exec also. Execute P1 means then it is giving you the welcome to Oracle PLSQL training. Here it is in the dbms output, it is giving you. Or you can use this exec also, shortcut. So whenever any changes in this procedure, I'm adding. So suppose if I execute this one again, so I have changed something in this, and I'm executing this one, but this is not updated here. If you see, batch is not coming here. That means whenever any changes in the procedure, again you have to recompile that one. Once you recompile, then only changes will be updated here. Okay. Without recompiling, if you run that, whatever the previous value is there, that only it is going to display here. So that means every time you change in the procedure, so you have to recompile this before executing. So we can do arithmetic operations using this procedure. So create or replace procedure P2 is A number, assignment operator to B number, assignment operator for begin dbms output of A plus B and P2. So this is the specification. If you see, this is the specification and this is the body here. So in the specification, we are defining this variables. Here, no need to mention the declare keyword. So in the anonymous block, we are for the declaring the variables, so what we are using? Declare keyword here. In this declare, we are defining the cursors and variables, everything here we are defining. But coming to the procedure, you should not use the declare keyword, but you can use the, you can define the variables here, and you can define the cursor, everything here. Within this is, between the is and begin. So create or replace procedure name is, after is, between the execution section begin, you can define your variables and cursors, whatever you want to define, you can define here. In the execution section, normal task, whatever you want to do, operations, or you can give the statements that will be executed here. Now the procedure P2 is compiled. So how will you call this one? Using the execute P2. Here the output it is there. So every time you execute this P2, we are getting 6 only here. Suppose I change the value here, 3. Then immediately you have to compile and again you can run this execute P2. Then you are getting the value here. Suppose can I pass the A value as a colon A? Is it possible? So here A value before, while compiling it will ask you the A value. So I'm giving 5 here. Okay. So now this is giving error. Bad band variable. So you cannot use the bind parameter like this in this procedures. There will be some other syntax we have to follow. Okay. That I will explain. Once the parameter comes, then I will explain this. So how to use the bind parameters are in this procedures I will explain once this topic comes here. So next we have the one more example. Create or replace procedure P3 is LV underscore name emp dot employee name percentage type LV underscore salary emp dot salary percentage type. Begin. Select ename salary into LV underscore ename comma LV underscore salary from emp where 1 is equals to 1 and employee number is equals to 7839. So that means for this employee number, employee name and employee salary will be stored into these local variables. And we are using the DBMS output to print this. Exception when others error message is SQL error. So that means if you are executing this column missing where in the P3. Begin. This is correct. Exception when others then. Oh, so then. So here create or replace procedure P3 is we are giving the values because of the extra column given the error here. Okay. So this is the extra came here. Then we compile it. It is giving you the error. So you have to be careful with this. Only one hand should be there here. And with the semicolon. So now we are compiling this one. How will you execute this one? Execute C3. So now every time you are getting this, when you execute this one, every time you will get the, based on this employee number, you are getting king and salary. So in this, see the difference. We have executed same query without using the procedure name. Simply we are using the declare, using the declare previously. Here, declare, I'm taking this out. So, declare, and this is the, here no need to use this P3 here. And I'm using. So directly it is executing and giving the output here. So unnamed block, this is a, called as a unnamed block. So when you execute directly, it is executing and giving the output. Coming to the procedure, that means simply we are using the name for the unnamed block. And here, no need to declare this keyword. Simply we are using the create or replace procedure P3 is remaining same code. There is no change in this. Only the thing what we have added is create or replace procedure P3 is for the unnamed block. So then it is become as a named block. Here if you can add, that is up to your wish. To identify easily where is the program and you have to use the procedure name here. So procedure and P3. Otherwise, if you not use also, no problem. So program compiled, execute P3 means it is coming. So, but in the real time, but you have to mention procedure name here at the end also. Because in the here, it is only for the one procedure. In the real time, there may be in one package, there is a lot of procedures will be there. So where it is ending, that is important to know. So otherwise you will get confusion. So for every procedure, you can mention the at the end procedure name also. Starting, we are using the create or replace procedure name, and also end also, you can mention the procedure name here. So that naming conventions also you have to follow. So in the real time, they will say some naming conventions. So you have to, every procedure will start with the developer. As a developer, you need to start with the XX only. Okay. Even procedure name, table name, whatever you are creating, that should be start with the XX only. But here for the training purpose, I am not using this XX. Simply I am using the procedure 1, procedure 2, like that I am using. But in the real time, you have to use the proper naming conventions set by your organization. So previously we had used the cursors also in the anonymous block. Same you can use in the procedure also. Create or replace procedure P4 is cursor C1 is select star from EMP and variables defining here. So if we see from here to is to begin, between is to begin, we have to define the variables and cursors in the procedures. Okay. Cursor C1 is select star from EMP, IEMP percentage row type. Begin. DBMS output program started here. So after program start, I'm printing the sysdate also. So sysdate with this date, month, year, along with this time also I'm printing. Open C1. So open C1 loop. Begin fetch C1 into I. Exit when C1 percentage not found. DBMS output. I dot apply number. I dot enum. Concatenate I dot job. I dot salary. And loop. Close C1. Again, DBMS output. Program end. Okay. So here I'm using the two care of sysdate, comma dd, myy format. When others, then this is the exception we are using. So when I execute this one, what will happen? P4 is compiled, then execute P4. Then here you are getting the output. Program started 3rd May 2025 with the time 9:14 seconds, 10 seconds. And it is printed all the employee details. And after that, ending it is again printing the time 3rd May 2025, 9:14, 10 seconds. Within the fraction of seconds, it is executed. So in the real time, there may be millions of records. At that time, you can change the difference here. How much time it is taking, you can check here, so that if you want to improve any changes to get the faster data, so you can change in the code. So based on the output time, so how much time it is taking for the printing or how much time it is taking for the update, based on that you can change the logic in this code. What are the code in the procedures? So here only 14 records, so that it is taking within the fraction of seconds. But in the real time, there may be millions of records. So then it may take 10 minutes or 15 minutes. Then you have to think of how to improve the query. So it should take less time. Sometimes it may take more than the 10 minutes. Then your manager will ask you why it is taking so much time. I want it in below 5 minutes. Then you have to check where are the logic you are using, what is the logic, and how you are using the loops, and how you are fetching the data. Everything you have to verify, and program should run within the 5 minutes. Like that, we have to change the code. Okay. So this two care of sysdate and DD, MON, YY, why we are using this? So this is for the time elapsed, means how much time it is taken to know the report. So for that purpose, we are using this one. Otherwise, no need to use every time. It is not required to use this date and time. Okay. So whenever any problem comes on, whenever the program is taking long time, then you can include this starting of this program where it is starting the before loop. It is starting here, and after loop we are closing this one. Again, we are using the sysdate. Between this time, how much time it is taking, you can calculate based on the starting time and ending time. So it is not mandatory every time you have to use this. Took care of sysdate, this one. Okay. So create a replace procedure P5 is LV underscore count number. Begin, select count star into LV underscore count from EMP where department number is equals to 20. DBMS output, put underscore line of number of employees from the department number 20 is. So simply we are creating the procedure. So for that again we have to call the using the execute procedure name. Then only it is giving you the output here. Same if you want to change this into anonymous block, simply you can remove this one and you can use the declare keyword here. It will become as a anonymous block. Okay. So you can convert anonymous block using the adding the create or replace procedure name is, so that it will be become as a procedure and it will be stored in the database. But anonymous block will not be stored in the database. So now this is stored in the database P5. Tomorrow if you come and execute directly, execute P5, then you will get the output. But for this anonymous block, you have to save in the separate file in the local file or as a text file. You can save that code. Then whenever you want, you can copy paste on in the worksheet and you have to run this. But coming to this procedure named block, so no need to copy in the separate text file or separate file. It will be once you compiled, it will be stored in the database permanently until unless you delete the procedure. Okay. So here, suppose if you are using the create or replace procedure, then only you can able to modify the next time any changes you can do. But without the replace command, only suppose create procedure is there, then you cannot change the procedure again. You cannot modify the procedure. That you have to remember. Okay. So we'll continue with some more examples tomorrow. Any doubts here in the procedures?